Right. Yes. We can start, Susan.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. It's now 8:37 in the evening on Thursday here in Melbourne. And I welcome all of you who who are here today participating in this. Is it 45 minutes, Sali, or 30 minutes?
Can go up to whatever the remaining time from 4 o'clock, Susan, because
Okay.
Zoom itself limits us.
Yeah, understood. So I'll give it a bit of a go. So a brief introduction about myself. Saliya, thank you for preparing the slide. I currently live in Australia. I'm a citizen now of Melbourne, Australia. And mostly what I've been involved in the last couple of years is what we call forest therapy. And I'm the president of the International Nature and Forest Therapy Alliance. I train guides and I also mentor them through a 6-month practical. What forest therapy, why it has become very popular is because over time, a lot of people in the world have realized that we are a very stressed society. And surely this latest pandemic has added to our levels of stress. Now, I understand in Sri Lanka, it's very challenging for all of you because of the lockdown and the curfew and the inability to move around. Here in Australia, we have a lot of restrictions, especially coming up to Easter. So from tomorrow till Easter Monday, typically a lot of Australians would be going hiking and going camping and spending the last few good days of weather before winter sets in to go out and be outdoors. So the added stress of being confined to our homes has made a lot of us realize how important it is to have access to nature. And when it's taken away from us, we realize how important it is to be nature connected. For myself, I have seen a lot of families when now, since I cannot get in a car in Australia, we can move around, we can go to a shop, we can go. I even got my hair today cut, we are allowed to do that. So we have a little more freedom, but we cannot get into a car and go on a hike. So that's made a lot of people very frustrated. So I thought I'll just chat with you guys today about some of the strategies that I, as a very keen hiker and a person who likes to go outdoors and go running,
Susan,
what are the strategies?
we just want to say hello to Anuradha who just joined.
Okay. Hello, Anuradha. Susan here. So I just wanted to, I think I hear a voice in the distance. It's not very clear, but nonetheless, welcome to this presentation. I was just talking a little bit about what we as hikers can do during this time when we cannot move about, when we are limited to get outdoors. So some of the things that I have done, because I have also trained as a personal trainer, one of the first thing I do is when I get up in the morning every day, I just consider what the things that I am grateful for in the morning. And I think that's a very important aspect for each of us. However, whatever the situation may be, it's important to get up and think, I am grateful for sunshine, or I'm grateful for my good health, or I'm grateful that I still have a job, or I'm grateful for being alive. That's one of my strategies, because then it puts me in a positive frame of mind. So that's one of the important things. I think being healthy is not only being able to be physically active, but also mentally.
Susan, I have a question. Now, we say that we need, when we get up, we have to be positive in our routine or in our with our mindset. So any tips that you do to get that positivity? Because most of us, we try to check news or read the phone or read the newspaper, which has a lot of negativity in this country. and anything that we people you suggest that we can do or we should avoid?
This is a very good question, Saliya. And actually, I have about 8 points that I have written up on my whiteboard behind me. And one of these points that I had made was take a break from the news. So don't go to bed with your phone, because what happens is we get up and the first thing we do is we grab our phone, we put it on, we put Facebook on, and the first thing we read is negative, because there's very few positive things happening in the news. We have to understand that any news today wants to focus a lot on the negative things, because people get very attracted to that. We can't help ourselves. So that's the first thing I would say, is don't put on your phone first thing in the morning. It is not going to change anything. The COVID is still going to be there. There's most likely going to be more people who are diagnosed with the virus. So whether you read it at soon as you get up or whether you read it 2 hours later, nothing has changed. So that's the first thing I say. Don't put on your phone early morning. Get up in the morning and use just a few minutes to even close your eyes and do some breathing exercises. So get up in the morning, even if you're still lying in bed, just take a moment to just breathe. Take in a deep breath and take out a deep breath. And then say to yourself, thank you for today. I am alive. I am grateful.
Right, right, right. So this is in our culture, people meditate a lot, and we call it sometimes for Buddhists as Anapanasati. I don't know whether you have heard it, meditation based on
My
breathing.
Sinhalese is not very good, but that sounds like a great idea.
Right, right, right. Okay, okay. And Charaka Valpitage has joined. Susan, please welcome him also. He's a young boy from St. Peter's College. Uh, he is here in our meeting room. And for Charaka's information, why Susan is here is due to this reason, which is on the screen. Right. Susan can continue.
Okay.
Thank you.
So welcome everyone again. Those of you who have just joined as well. So one of the first things I was suggesting in the morning is to not put on the phone the first thing when you get up. Just don't do that for at least half an hour. Instead, what you said, Saliya, is to use some meditation or some kind of a mindfulness practice to be grateful for the day. The next thing is to give yourself an opportunity during the day, have a schedule. Even if you're working from home, I think a lot of us found it very difficult to adjust to working from home. But now that that's the reality, and that's going to be probably the reality for the next couple of weeks, is to have a schedule. So as if you were getting up and going to the office every day, put on some clothes, you don't have to dress up with a tie and all of that, but at least dress up, have a shower, dress up and sit at your desk and start your day at 9 o'clock if that's your regular time. And keep that schedule as much as you can. And in between that day, schedule your whole day, keep a certain time of day, say 1 hour, to do some exercises at home. Now, we as hikers, we want to be physically active. So find a time when it's probably not too hot in the day to do some exercises at home. Now, Saliya, yes, and your friends as well, whoever is joining, do you have an exercise regimen, or do you know some exercises that you can do at home?
Yes. So now with the curfew situation here, that we even used a tiny lane, which we did not interfere too much with the neighborhood, to do some basic jogging for about 15-20 feet. So this can also be done inside. Even some of them are living in apartments, but still people can they can find their way here and there to do basic exercises. But it's simply the people have used to so much of comfort of going to a gym, walking or running on a treadmill. You know, even the staircase that we have at home can be used for squats or for
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, you don't need a lot of equipment. What I have found as a personal trainer is that we call what is called HIIT exercise, high intensive interval training. So you can just choose 3 exercises like a squat and a lunge and some burpees. Do you know what a burpee is?
No, Susan, you need to either explain or
Yes, so if you Google burpee, the spelling is Burpee. So Burpee, it's quite an intensive activity, but it's very effective. So you don't need to exercise for hours and hours. If you do high intensive interval training, you get the same effect with much less time. And you can do just not one session, you can do 2 or even 3 sessions of this kind of high intensity interval training during the day. So you can do one just before lunch, one at about 3 o'clock, and then when you finish your working day at around 6 or 7 o'clock. Skipping is also another good exercise, very good for cardiovascular health. And we also must remember that when you physically exercise, it has a very positive impact on your mental health as well. Because when we exercise, we have what is called endorphins. So your endorphins increase, and that gives you a sense of happiness and contentment. So exercise is very important, and schedule it at a time of day that you know, and hold yourself accountable to do those exercises at that time. Because if you fix a certain time, then you commit yourself to doing it. I think that's very important. Another hint that I can give is to chat with your mates. I know, we can't go about, but we are lucky at least we have technology in today's day and age. Everyone has a phone. So make some time to, check in with your friends and say hello, how you're doing. It's very important to stay socially connected as well with your friends, even if you can't meet them personally.
Chat with the
Another
maids
thing that you
Susan, sorry to interrupt you. Chat with the maids in the sense the domestic.
Your friends, your colleagues, even your colleagues at work, you can't meet them anymore. But you can just, have a Skype meeting, or even if your boss hasn't thought about it, maybe you can suggest to your boss, shall we have a Zoom meeting so that we can all say hello to each other and we can see each other. I don't know whether that's done, but if it's not done in your office environment, it's something to consider. It can even be with your own family and friends who are in other parts, who don't live in the same household. Having community and having human connection is very important. Another thing is, in just as much as you have to exercise, you must also eat good food as much as you can. And one of the best ways to do that, and actually is much cheaper, is to cook at home. So if you can make a homemade meal, that's also something I think is a great way of getting out, to be in a positive mood, is to cook something for yourself. And even if you have never cooked in your life, try out a new recipe, and maybe grow some things in your garden. Gardening is a fantastic opportunity to grow your own food and make a nice healthy meal at home. So if you have never done gardening, you can go to Google and get some really good tips. And in Sri Lanka, you have really nice weather. You don't have the winters that we have. And grow something, even if it's something small. Grow your own food and try to cook a nice meal once in a way at home. Yes, music. What about music? Music is a very uplifting activity when you are stuck at home. So if you have your favorite music, maybe you can make a playlist, and that playlist can also be your exercise music. I know I enjoy putting on my MP3 player some very uplifting, upbeat music, and that helps me to keep motivated for my exercise routine as well. Does any one of you have music that you like to exercise to?
Yes, Susanna, let me unmute and get one of our participants to speak. Our good friend Charaka is quite a guitarist. So Charaka will share his thoughts about music. I've heard him playing Charaka. Right. Shahrukh seems to disappear from the list, but I don't know. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Let's continue. Susan, thank you.
Okay, so yes, music is something that is very uplifting, and it also can support you with your physical exercises and keep you motivated. Another thing that I have found that this time has offered us is an opportunity to declutter. Now, does anyone understand what the word declutter means?
Yes, kind of cleaning out clutter and separating what you really need and
getting rid of a lot of stuff. I find that in before all of this happened, we had a lot of things which we probably said to ourselves, if I had time, I would do this, I would do that. Now I find that we have time, we have been given an opportunity in an unfortunate circumstance, which we can actually use to our benefit. And one of these things is, you don't need to do a massive declutter in a day, but start small. Just look at your bookshelf. Look at even your own computer. Sometimes we have files everywhere on our computer. Maybe you can start organizing your documents on your computer. You can organize books on a bookshelf. You can go through your clothes, your cupboard of all your clothes, and see whether there are things that you don't use anymore, and probably just get rid of a lot of stuff. So decluttering is also it's almost a mindfulness activity. So that's one thing I can suggest that you can start doing. Like I said, do it in small portions and just get through it day by day, and you'll
Susan,
find that.
Shall we give our participants to ask few questions if they have, and then continue?
Yes.
Yeah.
At any time.
Yeah. Anuradha, Rajiv. Anuradha is in the IT field, and there's quite a lot of work these days because of the situation here. Rajiv is also into project management areas. So guys, could you please clarify a few doubts you have? If you want to add something for the discussion, it will be helpful for the other listeners also later, because we are recording live.
Hi.
Hi, Anuradha.
Yeah. My question is how to control our foods, daily habits?
Food.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good question. And there's been a lot of discussion about food, because now we spend more time at home, and snacking is one of the biggest sins that we commit when we are at home, isn't it?
Yeah. Quite a lot.
Yes, it's a good question. And the only thing is for you to take control of your food intake. So now there are quite a few very good apps, and one is called Fitness Pal.
I'm writing it down. Fitness
Pal, P-A-L.
Fitness Pal, P-E-L.
P-A-L. So with that app, you can actually calculate all the calories that you will take for everything that you eat. And it also you can also put how much you exercise, and it will tell you how many calories more that you have taken. So for example, if you do 1 hour of exercise and you have burned, say, 2000 calories, but overall for the day, you have eaten 6,000 calories, then you know that you have eaten a little too much. And it will show you exactly what you have eaten and how many calories each of that food is accounting for that amount. So for example, if you eat a big bowl of ice cream, then you know that will show up on the app as a lot of calories. So you know you have to do probably with half the amount of food. Another way to control your food is, instead of serving your food on a big plate, try to serve your food on a small plate. These are very, simple things, but if you see visually, if you have a big plate, you want to put as much food to cover the plate. But if you eat with a smaller plate, then you'll eat less food.
Correct.
So that's one of the things. And also the timing, like try to eat dinner early, say before 8 o'clock. I am a Sri Lankan and I know we eat too late. And this is one of the reasons why we put on a lot of weight very easily, because our food is delicious, number one. So you want to eat a lot, but also eating late. So try to eat early. And another thing is to get good sleep, because if you have a heavy meal, then you find it very difficult to have a good night's sleep as well. Sleep is very important. So all this has a sort of connection to each other. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right.
Does anyone else?
Rajiv is there. Rajiv, can you add something to the discussion? You can.
Yeah, how do you figure out exactly how much exercise is uh, uh, good for, when you're just sitting around? Usually now, when you're working, we inherently do some additional work because you're walking around our workplace and everything. But when you're at home, all of that is just cut out. So how do you figure out to compensate for that?
Like I said, you should have a program for yourself every day. So for example, if you say start work at 9 o'clock and you finish at 5, you pretty much, your boss expects you to do that same amount of work, right? But if you schedule some time in between that walking, in between that start of the day and the end of the day, say I'm going to give myself 15 minutes before lunch to do some exercise, and I'm going to give myself 15 minutes at 5 o'clock to do some other exercise. It's up to you. You have to discipline yourself to stick to that plan. And like I said at the beginning, try to have an exercise regime. And you get quite a few very good programs online. So you don't need to work out for hours and hours. You just have 15 minutes, but you must really go a little bit hard. So really get a sweat out, like do squats, do skipping, do these high intensive activities so that you don't need to spend a lot of time exercising. But in a short period of time, you get a maximum benefit by doing high intensity activity. Another thing that I would get is always have your exercise equipment close to you, so that don't put it in the garage. Keep it close to you, next to your table, so that when you look at it, you have to make yourself accountable. So have some weights like dumbbells. Get some dumbbells and a skipping rope and have it next to you, so that when you look at it, you say, hey, I need to do this. I need to exercise. So you got to motivate yourself.
Right. Thank you very much, Susan, for those answers and explanations. Please proceed with your agenda so that we will be here listening.
Okay, all right. So this is not exercise related, but this is something, say, like sort of a mental health suggestion, is to read books. Now, again, we find that we want to read everything only on our phones, right? Because there's Facebook and this and that and Instagram, and we are no. Even I fall into that. You know, it's a trap almost. You want to just keep scrolling because it's easy to do, but try as much as possible to put that phone away and try to pick up a book. Try to read a book for one, for a change, whether it's something for self-improvement or even some light reading or a novel. Try to get some reading, because reading is also something very good for our brain and our mental health. Does anyone like to read in this group who enjoys
Yes.
reading a book?
Yes,
Yes.
a physical book for sure.
So who's reading? What's the book you guys are reading at the moment?
Me, Susan, no, nothing, but I'll be starting very soon, maybe tomorrow morning, because some studies are also there to continue, and that involves reading as well on physical copies.
Okay. Anyone else is reading a book? So it seems that a few of us still need to get into this habit. If you enjoy it, just like I said, start something. You don't have to go and buy a whole bunch of new books. Maybe you have a book. We all have a book that, we bought maybe several years ago and never found the time. So maybe this is an opportunity to pick up a book and start reading. Another thing is start a hobby. Now, does anyone have a hobby, like playing a guitar? Someone said they play a guitar.
Yes, yes. Most of us have, Susan. It's that for so many years, what has happened was due to workload. Most of us were away from these hobbies, and sometimes the hobby becomes a profession in my case, and
Yeah.
and it is there, but we need to put some effort to take it out and start working on that hobby that we used to have.
See, gardening, I think I mentioned before, gardening is a hobby that you can pick up. Now, you don't have to, grow a whole lot of things, but you can start with something small and you can probably get the whole family involved. It's a very good activity, and there's a lot of science and research that has shown that gardening is very good for our health. It's good for our physical health. It's good for our mental health. So gardening is really, really highly recommended, especially now that we have this time. And someone asked, how do I get my fitness when I'm at home? I'm not active. If you have gardening, if you start gardening, you'll find yourself going out and putting a bit of physical effort into your garden. And because it becomes almost addictive, you won't have to force yourself to do it. You will just do it because you're enjoying it. So find things that you enjoy doing, and that will get you motivated to be physically active as well. I have started a hobby of playing the ukulele. So just 1 hour before this talk, we had 40 people on Zoom learning how to play the ukulele. So maybe online you can find a group who's doing something on Zoom, and you can learn a new, pick up a new hobby as well.
Susan, can you explain that? What is that? It's an instrument or what? No.
Yes, a ukulele. A ukulele is a small guitar with 4 strings. So it's very, very, very easy to play.
I see. I see. Right. Interesting.
Ukulele. So it's music again. Learning to play an instrument is very, very good for mental health. So those are some of the suggestions I have in very brief. Does anyone have any question? So it's UKU, yeah, LE. No, no, go back, go back. You go back. Yeah, that's it. That's it. A 4-stringed instrument. Yeah. And so a lot of people are offering free services, free learning tools, free groups that you can join. We are living in a very lucky time, so that even if we are in lockdown, we can still go online and learn new things and make new friends. Even when it comes to fitness, another thing I know we are missing our hiking. Watch a nice adventure movie. It's a very motivating thing to watch an adventure movie.
Yes, Susan, and also I keep watching some of the old hikes that we have taken on YouTube. So that's another kind of stress release thing for me.
Of all the things I've said, I think the most important thing is to do some exercise every day. So whether it's, like I said, high intensity interval training. So the acronym for that is HIIT. You can go online and you can just pick 3 exercises and do that with high intensity. You can start slow, but as you get more fit and more physically active, you can do that really fast, so that you don't, like I said, you don't have to spend a lot of time. You can spend 5-10 minutes even, but you get a really good workout. Getting good sleep, learning some yoga. Yoga is a really, really good thing, and there are so many good videos you can watch and learn to do some yoga. Mindfulness, there are so many fantastic apps to learn how to meditate and to learn mindfulness. This is an unfortunate situation that I think none of us have been spared. In any country you look, everyone is going through kind of the same hardships, but it has also given us an opportunity to do things that we didn't have time to do. So if you look at it from another way, we can do things which we couldn't do before. So use the opportunity to widen your horizons and do new things and experiment with new things, and keep positive. This will come to an end. It's not going to go on forever. It will pass, and we'll all come out of this having learned something new about ourselves and our society as a whole.
Yes, true, correct. Susan, we are also planning to kind of handle this situation, because getting into the pool again will not be a safe thing even after lifting curfew. So as a way of social distancing and to make sure that water is adequately chlorine, it takes some time, because their water testing tests needs to be passed in the education department and ministries, etc., for the pools to be open. So we are thinking of other activities such as cycling events, hiking events, beach events in the future. So I think for the listeners, these are some positive areas that you should try to be with us on these 1 or 2 events, so that you can make new friends, new contacts, and new hobbies. Sometimes you can develop. We never know what would be the next new hobby that we are going to start, or we might get self-motivated.
Absolutely. And this is where having a community of people around you, friends that you can talk to and share some good ideas and motivate each other. I think you have built a really great community through your swimming, that you can kind of lean on each other and share some good ideas and motivate each other through these times. Another thing, what you can do when you are able to move around is do some beach boot camp. Go on running on the beach. Any activity by the ocean is also very healing and very therapeutic. So you can think of doing some beach boot camps. So you can go swimming, but you can also run on the beach. You can, take a ball and do some games.
True.
Beach boot camps are very popular around the world, and given the nice weather in Sri Lanka when it's not the monsoon time, is a very great activity.
Even beach volleyball, beach softball, cricket. Just before
Endless
this.
possibilities.
Yes. Where we can eat some good food.
Yes. Indeed. But like I said, the best food is grown at home, guys. Start gardening.
Okay.
So if there are no more questions, I'm happy to leave it there. But if anyone has any further questions and you want to email me, I'm happy to send you some links.
Right. So we'll share your email address as well, no?
Yes, that's fine.
Correct?
Yes, there should be a V after Susan for Veronica. Susan V. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, happy to answer questions anytime. I can go on talking for hours, but I know we all have to go back to our work or whatever we are doing. And wish you guys a really nice. Do you have a long weekend this weekend?
Anyway, it doesn't make much of a difference for most of us.
I know.
Because but some of these doctors, people, those who are in certain industries are working even from home, but certain industries cannot perform from home. Constructions, etc. Okay, Susan, is there another area that you are more, you like to speak and share some information other than what you discussed today, so that because we like to have these sessions more often if time permits for you.
I mean, I'm happy to talk about a lot of topics, but you have to give me an idea as to what people want to hear. So I'm happy to give advice on
the basic
career advancement.
Yeah, the basic hikers checklist kind of topic.
Yes, definitely. Yes, I can definitely do that.
Okay, I'll make some notes and I'll literally keep you posted on email about the next program, and I will officially invite you. And if it is not an inconvenience to you.
No, I'm happy to do that. I quite often give presentations on day hikes and overnight hikes, so I'm happy to do that as well.
Thank you very much, Susan, and gentlemen, ladies, those who are listening to us now or later. She volunteered to have this discussion all the way from Australia, and now it's almost 10:30 in the night there. So thank you very much, Susan, for participating.
You're welcome, Saliya, anytime.
And everybody who joined, thank you very much. And
yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Saliya.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Susan, 6:30, the cardiologist will come online. I will anyway share you a link if you. But it's way too late in the night, no?
Probably a little bit too late, but I'm sure if you record it, I'll be happy to listen.
We'll do that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye then.
Bye.